In this world, I intentionally limit my progression. With each episode in this series, I'll unlock more materials, transportation, and quests until I fully experience every part of Minecraft's core game. Last episode, I began my journey in the Stone Age by exploring every biome and looting a full set of gold equipment along the way. From there, I was able to build this castle using llamas and collect all 20 different dog and cat variants. But I still have a long way to go until I can finally unlock iron. I still need to finish my progression with a full set of chainmail, collect the rest of the pets and rideables, and then finally breed the best horse in the llama. And while I do have some fun plans for how I'm going to complete those goals, first, I need to fix something I forgot about from last episode. In my llama caravan unloading dock, I had made these doors so I could easily swap out specific llamas from the train, but I hadn't solved the issue with the llamas not fitting through the doors. There were already too many fence gates in the area, so that wouldn't have looked good. Pistons would require redstone and iron, and a more manual option wasn't very appealing. So I set out on a brief journey as the solution I came up with was drip leaf. Okay, so actually what I wanted to do is that. Okay, so I know it's not a perfect solution, but I'm actually pretty happy with it because if you just toss an item on it, then you can pass through it. So then I could lead a llama, pull it through, and then the door would automatically close behind it. Surprisingly, I think that actually looks pretty good. Most importantly, I need to make sure it's functional, so let's test it with some llamas. And pretty quickly, I learned that this design also has a pretty big flaw. Although the drip leaf does successfully block the llama's path, they don't see it like that, which makes them try to pathfind across the circle instead of around it. Oh man. So the first thought that came to mind was I really hate the fact that this didn't work. And the second thought that came to mind was I think that stacking double carpets might stop their pathfinding. All right, let's see if it works. Awesome, yeah, that seems to have done the trick. Okay, that is quite relieving. What that should allow me to do is if I want this llama, for example, and just this llama, I could toss an item there. Oh, awesome, okay. And he is up here now. Yeah, okay, I am really happy with that. The llama bay was now fully operational, but before I could call it a finished project and move on to other goals today, I needed to actually finish the project. So to start, I wanted to make the interior look a bit nicer. So the inside of the castle is looking pretty bland right now, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what I want to do yet. All I know is I have this idea for adding a bit of color into that room through the use of banners. I have no idea how possible it actually is. I'm assuming I can replicate them at least mostly, but I want to try and make a banner that corresponds to each different llama carpet. And to do that, I decided to turn the top floor of my house into an art studio, complete with cabinets for my art supplies, an easel, and my muse, this llama. I used one of the 2 enchanted golden apples I got from exploring to make its banner pattern, as well as some bricks and an oxide daisy. But I was disappointed to find that you can't get vines with silk touch. Oh no. So I'll have to get that banner pattern after I get iron. So for now, these were the only banner patterns I had. But that was when I realized that one of my missing patterns was pretty important to make one of the banners. Ooh. The green llama it's got a creeper on its back, so I will probably need to get a creeper head so that I can make the creeper banner pattern. It's not something I was originally planning on doing in this stage, but it's definitely something I can do. Actually, now that I think about it, I could get that set up tonight. So for the remainder of the night, I quickly put together these little creeper traps that were just a boat and lightning rod, so that whenever we got the next thunderstorm, I could make sure that I could get a couple of charged creepers. But while I waited for that, I still did have plenty of banners that I could be working on. Okay, I think this one's gonna be a pretty simple one to make. So I think if I just toss that there and there, we can just do, I know there's this vertical stripe. Is there another horizontal one like that? If it wasn't obvious, it's been a while since I've worked with banners. So if I'm not mistaken, I think the best way of doing this is like this. I kind of don't like that though as much. I could add these to it and then put a yellow one on top. But, I mean, you know, I guess like it's still same vibe. Like even if it's not a perfect one-to-one, yeah. I think that this is gonna be the best one. Well, let's try the orange one then. Yeah, okay, see, I think this one already we can be a little bit more creative with. So I think what I need to do for this one, yeah, that seems pretty good. While the banners weren't as perfect of a replica as I had originally hoped, I was still able to at least capture the essence of most of the llamas, and the banners still would serve their purpose of adding some color to the inside of this build. Okay, well yeah, so these two will have to wait for a creeper head, but I think I do want to try and take on the Wandering Trader's llama. So let's see if I can do that. It's funny that this Wandering Trader literally just spawned, so it'll make it a little bit easier. So we got blue on top and red on bottom. Yeah, I probably could have even done a black gradient on it to make it a bit darker. Yeah, okay, I kind of want to try that. Give me a second. So it's like that. Yeah. See how that color matches just a little bit more? Such a tiny difference, but I think I do like that one a lot more. And that was the last banner I could make right now, as I was still waiting on the thunderstorm. So I decided just to get to work on designing the interior of the sandcastle. I wasn't planning on going overboard, I just wanted it to feel more polished than it did now. And a big part of that was figuring out how to hide these horse stables. So this design's kind of perfect because it covers both the stables exactly where they need to be. So like this stable is lined up right here, but then this stable is lined up on this block instead. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. After finishing the last of the 3 pillars, the inside of the build was almost complete. All it needed was the banners. And luckily for me, I had not one, but 2 different thunderstorms. Now, I wasn't lucky enough to get a skeleton horse to spawn, but the creeper traps did work as planned. All I needed to do now was to set one off. So my strategy to get the creeper head is I think if I just bring this guy over to this other creeper and get him in the same boat, then it will make it a lot easier. And I think I can just get close enough to set off one of them, but not the other. Now, I'll be honest, I am pretty worried about this because up until now, I'm still at 0 deaths. Also, I mean, you can see my 58 levels, and I know that these creeper explosions hurt. Just hoping this all goes well. I think as long as I put blocks at my feet, I should be fine. Oh, it worked, okay. Whew. Man, that left a crater though. And now we have entered the creeper age. No, I'm just kidding. And we got our creeper charge banner. Creeper charge banner. The only 2 banners I had left were the purple and the green. The purple one had a sort of Enderman face on the back of it, and I had thought that the creeper charge banner pattern would be helpful in making the eyes. But it turns out it was actually easier to make it without it. Either way, I did still need it for the green one though. And that is that llama. Now that all the banners were done, I could go ahead and hang them up around the ring to wrap up this project. Yeah, I mean, it adds a little bit of color. That's kind of fun. And at this point, I was pretty content with the interior. So I decided it was time to polish up the entry and exit tunnels for the llamas. I think that the tunnels themselves are done now. Nice. So we got those all buried. Now I just gotta clean up this. Now, this llama dock looks great and all, but technically it doesn't really progress our goals. So, while I was working on building, I've also been breeding my llamas in pursuit of the 15 storage llama. After last episode, my max storage for any llama was still the common highest of 9 slots. And in order to upgrade, I just needed to breed those 9-slot llamas with any other llama and hope I hit the 1% chance of the 12-slot upgrade. No way! Oh, that's such a rare chance. Okay. Oh, I can't believe we got one finally. That's taken so long. Well, this was a feat on its own. It was the easier of the 2 upgrades I needed to hit. And I now had to continue breeding them until one of my new 12-slot llamas could hit the 0.75% chance of a 15-slot offspring. I had already gone through tons of wheat just to get this far, but I knew I was gonna need a lot more. I had already expanded my farm, but wheat takes a long time to grow when you don't have water for your cropland. Luckily though, I still had another option. You know what I should do? I should just get my horse and go out to villages and just find it that way. I mean, with all those villages that we have in the east, I'm sure that there's plenty of hay bales to go around. So with my eyes set on pillaging, I rounded up my golden hoes and set off to the west. Because this is one of the few times that actually using a gold hoe will make sense. It's time to freaking pillage! And just like that. Oh man, I can't insta-mine them anymore. I made it home with over 2.5 stacks of hay bales. From that trip alone, I'd be able to breed 83 new llamas, which would give me a decent shot at that 0.75% chance of the upgraded llama. Now, I'm prepared for that to take some time. So while I'm breeding those llamas, I'm also going to be working towards another one of our goals: collecting and building homes for the 5 different parrots. I laid out some gravel in a perfect pentagon around the castle. Each of these gravel pillars will correspond to a tower that will house one of the 5 parrot types. Full disclosure, I was having a bit of creative block in starting any structure inside the walls, so my best remedy to that was just to get to building and figure it out as I go. Yeah. I'm wanting the top to feel like a bird cage, and I think that that's kind of working. Okay, I need to make sure I don't die. This fall will kill me. So yeah, we can even do these in between. Okay, well, I like the feel of it in here, but I've yet to see what this actually looks like. Oh yeah. Okay, that's actually really close. I think that I could smooth this out a little bit. I think I can make that a bit better. Yep, that's it. That is it. Awesome. Now, I do want to cut some windows into the actual tower itself because I think that will add a bit more life to it. But I also want to do a spiral staircase inside of it. So I'm going to get to work on both of those things. All right, with that tower being done, let's go grab the bird for it. Oh, we get an IKEA bird. Well, hello. Yep, come here. Perfect. You can just barely see his little face up there. And with the tower design all sorted out, I'll be able to knock out the other 4 in no time. No way. Oh, you're kidding. And that is why this world is not hardcore. I'm not a good Minecraft player, and I'm very aware of that. Usually, I compensate for that by prioritizing feather falling boots, but obviously, I don't have much control over that in this world. That being said, even though it's not hardcore, I still did have a secret consequence for whenever I died. I had decided that whenever I die for the first time, I had to build a graveyard, which I would then use to keep track of all my future deaths. Oh, I love the way that loads off in the distance. That's cool. Well, I suppose this is an appropriate day for some rain. For each cause of death I have throughout this world, I'll have to make a new tombstone. Because this death was from falling, I decided to model it after one of the towers. And now that my grieving was over, I could actually build the rest of the towers. Oh, I haven't been scared by a creeper like that in a long time. But with that, that is the 5th tower, now almost completed. I just need to go grab the bird for it. And the last bird that we need is the gray bird. Up until now, I had managed to find each bird pretty quickly, but I wasn't having as much luck with this one. I ended up needing to explore pretty deep into the jungle. Yes, that is the gray one. All right. Perfect, that one took a while to find. But my extra effort in hunting down this final bird did pay off. Wait a second. Yo, okay. You wait right here. I'll be right back. I can't take the diamond, but I will take the bones, and I will be taking these armor trims. You know, every time I've raided one of these, I've always just broken this, but maybe it'd be a fun time to try. Maybe it'd be a fun time to actually try and do the puzzle. Okay, I just want to, I'm gonna break through, but I just want to see what it's doing. That one pushes them both out. Do I want to do that? Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay. And then I would just... Oh. See, I never knew it opened from up here. Oh, we get more templates, nice. Finding one of these was not really on my to-do list at the moment, but I'll take it. And with the bird in its new home, I had officially collected all the pets, leaving just a couple rideables to go for this goal. And that whole time I had been building those towers and graveyard, I had stayed on top of breeding the llamas. But before I go check on that progress, those new armor trims I just got reminded me about something I'd been meaning to set up. As you know, this series is a lot about just exploring Minecraft and doing everything Minecraft has to offer. And one of those things that I haven't really highlighted as much is collecting all the things there is to collect. Now I don't exactly know how I want to set this up, but I do want to start keeping track of things like music discs and armor trims that I've been collecting, because like armor trims you get from all different structures in the game, which is going to span across all 3 dimensions. Even like Elder Guardians drop some, so I can't really combine those to a specific stage. So instead, I just want to make sure I'm keeping track of collecting them all. Oh, it's raining. Just normal rain. So I came up with 6 different categories for these collectibles. First on that list is armor trims, which there are 19 total, including the netherite upgrade. Second is music discs, which there are again 19 of. Third is mob heads with 6 total, including the end dragon head. Fourth is banner patterns with 10 total. The 5th is goat horns with 8 total. And finally, pottery shards with a total of 23. Again, those are just the 6 collectibles I came up with. I'm pretty confident that's all of them, but if there's anything else that you feel like should be on this wall, again, just let me know. And with that out of the way, I could finally check on the llamas. This phase made me worry time and time again that I had made some of these challenges too difficult or grindy. And while I think that actually might be true, I immediately forget about the grind, and it all feels worth it every time that goal is completed. No way! That is the best llama. I cannot believe we finally got the elusive 15-slot llama. That is beautiful. After over 200 llamas bred, I had finally gotten the fully upgraded llama. We're coming in on the home stretch for this stage. To finish my mob collection goal, I only need to get a donkey and a mule, which will be pretty quick, and a skeleton horse, which I can't do anything but wait. What that means is that this stage really just has 2 major tasks left. The first is finishing this tier's progression with full chainmail armor, and I'm gonna have to get that from mob drops. The other big one is upgrading a horse, which is the part of this stage I've been looking forward to the most. And I think the best way to accomplish those goals is to work on them both at the same time. I can spend the days building the structure I'll need for the horses and the nights hunting mobs. With that all said, I'm excited to finally reveal my plan for the horses. For this challenge, I'm only really concerned with the speed. While a high jump and lots of health would be nice, it would take way too much time. So with the limitation of no redstone, because I don't have that in this stage, the solution I found was to run them off a cliff. Because what I realized was that if you ran a horse off a cliff without hitting the jump button, the faster the horse is, the further it would be when it hit the ground. Now, on its own, that would be a rudimentary way of measuring speed, but you could imagine this idea can be evolved by instead making multiple ledges on the other side of the gap. Now the faster a horse is, the less distance it would fall before it reaches a ledge. And you'd end up with some nice groups of horses that are entirely sorted by their speed. Now both of these methods rely on the same core idea of measuring speed by using the falling distance as a timer. So the final evolution of this idea was how short would that gap have to be for the horse not to fall at all. If a horse is moving at snail speed, that distance would pretty much be the length of its hitbox. But if that horse was moving just a little bit faster, it would be able to cross just a little bit wider of a gap. You see where I'm going with this? I wanted to find a couple different meaningful cutoff points that would allow a faster horse to cross, while a slightly slower one would fall. Now, I don't know why I bothered explaining all that when I could have just used this brain rot YouTube short, but hopefully that all made sense. So I spent some time in creative testing both different gap sizes as well as different ledge heights, because I think I'll end up using both. I don't usually like to do creative testing, but I did need to for this so that I could summon horses with an exact known speed to see what gaps they'd be able to cross. Anyway, that's the idea for the next build, but I still have to figure out how it's gonna look. And I think what I've landed on is a sort of like giant highway looking ramp. So like it would start here and it would spiral up around and go behind the castle, and then it would level out to like a flat kind of runway, and then we'd have some kind of tower here or like structure, and then the horse could like, you would run up to the end of it and like jump over to the structure, and that would determine. So it would be kind of like, I want it to feel like a big grand trial for each horse. Going into the build, I was pretty unsure of it. My worry was that this huge path would become the focal point of the castle and ruin its silhouette. But that all faded away the more that its shape came together. I don't know how to describe it, but the lines created by this castle it's just very satisfying. Like having this slope up and you just see it curve right into that walkway. I'm actually a really big fan of that. Now that I had it outlined and I was happy with the placement, I could start adding in the arch supports, which really brought it all together. And while the ramp progress continued during the day, I spent each night hunting mobs for chainmail, as you can probably tell from the pauses in the time lapse. But I decided to take a bit of a different approach to hunting than I normally would. Since I had taken the time last episode to kit each of my 9 dogs with armor, I figured I might as well put it to use, and I'm so glad that I did. It was super refreshing to go hunting on horseback with a pack of wolves, instead of my usual method of checking my mob farm chest every so often. It weirdly scratched a sort of primal hunting itch, on top of just being a bit safer than hunting with only stone tools and gold armor. But this ended up being one of those goals that felt a lot grindier than I had thought it would, and made me question if this was too much work for this stage. So while I kept building the horse track during the day, I spent my nights hunting, only taking a break to restock on sand. Stone Age? More like Sandstone Age. You're kidding. That's so annoying. Oh man, I wasn't even recording. I was literally watching a YouTube video on the side, and And as per my rules, I set up a creeper headstone, which hopefully won't get too many more roses below it. Yeah, I think that works. Surprisingly though, that actually wasn't my most embarrassing death this episode. Ooh, that was kind of clean. I'm getting a little bit careless with my movement. Oh no. But after many nights of hunting skeletons, a couple unfruitful thunderstorms, and countless scutes spent on healing dog armor, I finally managed to get the last piece of chainmail. Can we get a chest plate? So I can be done doing this every single night? No way! Wait, what? I did not think there was any chance that was gonna happen. Then, the day immediately following that last piece of chainmail, I also managed to finish the bridge all the way up to where the tower is gonna go. Whoa. Look at the castle, dude. That's looking nice. I built that? That was me? And now that I've completed my set of chainmail, I can fully focus on phase 2 of the horse build. The next step is to set up the 3 gaps to actually test the horse's speed, with each one getting increasingly more difficult. So in order to set up the speed traps for the horse, I realized I don't actually have the resources, nor am I allowed the resources to make some of the necessary blocks. So obviously the blocks used at the edge of the gap are very important because that's what determines how wide the gap is and therefore what horses make it across. And one of the few blocks that I could find that would work well is a hanging sign. But the issue with that is a hanging sign takes chains, which takes iron. So originally I had written it off and I had decided that I probably would not be able to do that because that would take iron. But then I realized that abandoned mine shafts have chains. And now that feels like a bit of a gray area, because obviously that's a bit of a shortcut and it still is using a block that takes iron, which doesn't feel very fair. And then I was watching an Etho video actually, and I realized that hanging signs can be found in archaeology sites. And that, to me, feels like a little bit more fair game. And also this time I will have the benefit of bundles, which should make archaeology sites a little bit easier to bring home some of the stuff. Wait, I can put bundles in bundles? What? That's amazing. And on top of using just the bundles to carry more items, there's actually another goal that I've been able to do for a while, but I just haven't. And this is a pretty good opportunity for it. So if I remember right, I believe that somewhere over here, there is a mule. Awesome. Or I guess this, a donkey. This one's not a mule, this is a donkey. Now, of course, we can then use the donkey and we'll breed it with the horse. And we'll make ourselves a mule. Oh, I forgot. They start off kind of small. Okay, yeah. So it will have to grow up. I had just totally forgot that this will take time to grow up. All right, let's see if the apples speed up his growth.
What up, baby?
With my bundle of bundles and my new mule, I set out on the hunt for a trail ruins in search of a hanging sign. Oh, wait. Right on the coast, nice, okay, there we go. It feels weird for my goal to not be the armor trims and stuff, but just hanging signs. Ooh, I'll take pottery shards. Oh, are you kidding? Wait, again? Is the first one in a trail always gonna be the disc? Because that's the second time that's happened to me. Oh, here we go. This is actually why I'm here. Okay, hanging sign. Ooh, perfect. There's another one. But 2 was all I managed to find from that one. I remembered roughly where the ruins were from last episode and decided to swing by to see if I'd left behind any signs. I have one hanging sign. And after securing that third sign from my old trail ruins, I set off again hunting a new site. Oh, there's one right here. I was just about to sleep. All right, well, I guess I can go and get set up here. Oh, this is a good room. Okay. Oh, how did I do that again? Oh, there we go. Yes. Think that is this one fully cleared out. And after the third trail ruins, I returned home with 5 signs. While more would have been nice, I will be able to make these work. I also was able to add a couple new items to my collectibles. With the hard part out of the way, it was now time to actually build the gaps. So again, I want to make it feel like a sort of trial for the horse, and for that trial to carry any sort of weight, there needs to be some consequences. And so what I'm thinking I want to do is at the peak of each of these arches, I actually want to put a hole that goes all the way through so that horses that miss the jump will fall. Now, I don't think it'll be enough to kill them, and if it is, I can just toss some hay bales down there, because I don't really want any dead horses. I want them to hurt. I'm not insane, I promise. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll toss a little bit of hay down here. Looks like they'll fall probably right around here. There we go. That should hopefully cushion the fall a little bit. And you know, I feel like it also adds a little bit of visual storytelling as well, that like you're meant to fall down. After setting up each of the 3 tests on the bridge, I emptied all surrounding land of any wild horses and gathered them for their first trial. So now comes the fun part of actually testing these horses on my new, very humane training facility. Now this was when I realized that I should have been more thorough in my creative testing, because my results just weren't very consistent. Some horses were failing jumps that they should be able to make, while others were passing ones that they should fail. See, okay, I don't get how this horse makes it over that, but the other one didn't. There's gotta be something to that. It still did roughly sort them, so I did have some fast ones I could start breeding, but I wanted to revisit my creative testing world before I got any further. I had a couple big takeaways from testing. The main one was, the bigger the gap is, the more accurate that result will be. Imagine, for example, you had 2 horses and you had to determine which one was faster by racing them. You could either race them for 1 hour and see who makes it further, or for 1 second. Obviously, racing them for 1 hour is better because the longer that they race, the more obvious that winner would be. So while this method is still somewhat accurate, it relies on a very fine-tuned amount of precision that Minecraft really just doesn't have in its collision calculations. So one thing that I can do to help make sure my trials are as accurate as possible is to use my F3 screen to line myself up at exactly 90 degrees, which does actually make the results more consistent. So using this new testing method, I retried my old jumps as well as tested some new ones. And ultimately, I decided on changing the original jumps I had planned as the old ones were more difficult than I had wanted. And finally, I also decided on the final jump, which will serve to be both more difficult than the other 3 gaps, but also hopefully more precise as the gap is bigger. I designed it with a little bit of wiggle room so that I can pass with a 98 to 99% perfect horse and not just 100%, which would be ridiculously hard to get. And with this newfound knowledge, I revisited all the jumps I had already built and fixed them. All right, first one's already set up correctly. Then the second one. Oh yeah, no, this is way too tough. I was now confident in the jumps and the system that I had in place, which meant that I could focus on breeding horses and building the final tower, while of course praying for a thunderstorm. I started by building the ledge where the horse will land on, so that I could build the tower around that. All right, well, that is the gap we need to cross. So that's not too bad. Oh, I don't know why I thought that connected. Oh, you're kidding. I'll be honest, that's a little bit embarrassing. I kind of wish I didn't have to share that with you guys. So the bridge, I think, yeah, the bridge is done. So with that, it was finally time to build the tower. So I'm thinking something pretty simple. Maybe like the corners kind of jut out and then there's like a little arch. You know, it's probably easier if I just get into it. Oh, I've actually probably made it too big. Yeah, I can make it a little bit smaller. I think I like that size. All right, so now we'll just build this thing on up. Okay, you know what I think it is? I think like the brutalist simplicity of it, like just how blocky and strong it looks is like kind of scary in a way, in like a good way. Like I want these trials that the horses go through, you know, like this final jump, I want it to be intimidating. And I think having just this very simple, giant, blocky structure, I think that's like exactly what it needed. Seems like too thin of a top, actually. I think that the part that comes out needs to go down a little bit more than it is right now. Okay, yeah. Yep, that works for me. All right, yeah. See, okay, that tower is so simple. That is such a simple structure, but I honestly feel like that adds so much to this area. Like this makes this place feel so filled in. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I really, really love how that turned out. After I finished the outside of the tower, I started work on closing it in. But while I was in the process of working on that, I finally got another thunderstorm. Oh, it is. Oh, it's been a while since our last thunderstorm. This one really needs to work out. By the time I got on my horse and made it to the field, it had ended, and I hadn't even realized it. All right, come on. Skeleton horse is what we need, and honestly, with how close I'm getting on these regular horses, I would like to get this very soon, because it's not going to take much longer. You're joking. Wait a sec. At this point, I had probably had like 7 to 8 thunderstorms without getting a skeleton horse, and my tasks to work on were starting to run out. I had this cinematic idea for how I wanted to end this episode, and to make that happen, I needed to complete all my other goals and get a skeleton horse before I attempted the final jump. So I kept breeding horses, but I didn't test any of them past the 3rd gap. I ended up finishing the tower, so I started to do some small projects to keep myself busy waiting for that next thunderstorm. I finally got around to building the front gate to the castle and this bridge to go with it. I also decided to build the side gate as well. I got a music disc. I bred some more horses. I made a path around the castle using some lily pads to cross the water. I made a path from the castle to my house. I built a camel enclosure. I completed a second set of chainmail armor. I waited for a little while.
Oh, just a regular rainstorm.
I farmed some trees. I waited again. And finally, another thunderstorm.
No way!
Oh, okay. This one had to go as planned.
I saw that. Oh, another one. Ah. Was it this way? Oh yeah. Okay, no. No. Oh, that one was on my house. Okay. Oh, we're somewhere over here. Okay, yep, no skeleton horse. Okay, no skeleton horse. Oh! We got one! Oh, I cannot believe we finally got one. They're not even like that rare. I don't know why this is taking me so long to get one. That's actually insane.
I quickly visited my armory to put on a full set of projectile protection armor before taking on this trap.
The moment of truth. Oh, I didn't realize they had iron armor. Got a single mount, boom. Easy. Ooh. Imagine missing your shot, it's gonna be me! Oh, I killed that horse, that's my bad, Okay. Let's bring him back to the base.
After hours and hours of waiting and countless thunderstorms, I had finally gotten my skeleton horse, which means that I have officially completed my collection goal.
Wait. What's that?
Oh, you're kidding. Okay, now I have officially completed that goal.
Wait! You can make it go faster by if I'm holding a carrot on a stick and I right click it? Well, it made him go faster for a second. Yeah, I think it is going a little bit faster. Wow, I didn't know that.
Anyway, enough distraction. I now just have one thing between me and the end of the Stone Age. And that is just a single horse being able to make that jump. So without any further ado, it's time for the trials.